Welcome back to our channel, Soap Opera Aficionados. Today is a beautiful, thrilling day to unpack the most explosive secrets and scandalous betrayals currently rocking Genoa City. Grab your favorite beverage, settle in, and let us embark on a deep dive into the chaotic world of the young and the restless. Brace yourselves, viewers, because we must begin this commentary with a shocking warning. The fragile peace between the Newman and Abbott dynasties is about to be violently incinerated. A highly toxic, deeply illicit romance is actively brewing in the shadows of corporate warfare, and it threatens to trigger an apocalyptic fallout that will leave a trail of shattered lives in its wake. If you thought the historical feuds of Genoa City were intense, the impending chaos surrounding Victoria Newman and Kyle Abbott will redefine the meaning of familial destruction. We are looking at a storyline that will not only cross ethical boundaries, but will also ignite the homicidal rage of the most powerful patriarchs in town, setting the stage for a catastrophic collision between the two most prominent families in daytime television. To truly understand the magnitude of this impending disaster, we must first analyze the genesis of this scandalous entanglement. Victoria Newman, ever the calculating corporate strategist, has proposed a highly controversial idea, orchestrating a fake, manufactured rivalry between Newman's Vibrante and Jabot. On paper, Victoria is pitching this as a brilliant public relations maneuver. She argues that a highly publicized, dramatic corporate showdown will successfully distract the media and the public from the recent, severe troubles plaguing the Newman family. By dominating the headlines with a fabricated business war, Victoria hopes to control the narrative and project an image of aggressive Newman dominance. However, in the cutthroat world of Genoa City, nothing is ever as simple as a press release. If we look closely at Victoria's true motivations, a much darker and more provocative picture emerges. Is she genuinely interested in a fake corporate rivalry to save Newman Enterprises' stock prices, or is this entire elaborate scheme merely a calculated excuse to get dangerously close to Kyle Abbott? Victoria is a woman who is currently suffocating under the authoritarian control of her father, Victor Newman. She is constantly fighting for autonomy and respect. Engaging in a secret, thrilling game of cat and mouse with a handsome, younger Abbott heir provides her with a potent psychological escape. The fake rivalry is the perfect smokescreen, allowing her to schedule endless private meetings and strategy sessions with Kyle under the guise of legitimate corporate business. It is a masterclass in manipulation, driven by an undeniable, magnetic lust. On the other side of this dangerous equation is Kyle Abbott. Kyle's motivations are rooted in a deep-seated need for validation and a rebellious streak that constantly puts him at odds with his own family. Kyle feels perpetually underappreciated by his father, Jack, and his mother, Diane. He is desperate to prove that he is a corporate heavyweight, a man capable of swimming with the sharks. When Victoria Newman, the formidable ice queen of the Newman Empire, approaches him with a clandestine plot, Kyle's massive ego is instantly stroked. He views this fake rivalry not just as a business opportunity, but as a validation of his own power and desirability. Kyle is arrogant enough to believe that he can outsmart Victoria, or at the very least, match her step for step in this dangerous dance. The corporate risks of this manufactured feud are astronomical. A fake rivalry between two massive conglomerates like Newman and Jabot is a ticking time bomb. If the public, the shareholders, or the Securities and Exchange Commission were to discover that these two companies were colluding to manipulate market perceptions, the financial fallout would be devastating. Stock prices would plummet, and the legal ramifications could destroy both empires. Yet, Victoria and Kyle are so blinded by their mutual attraction and their insatiable egos that they are completely ignoring the catastrophic risks. They are playing Russian roulette with the legacies of their respective families, all for the thrill of a forbidden romance. The tension finally reaches a boiling point during a fateful, highly charged encounter at the Jabot offices. The atmosphere is thick with unspoken desire and competitive friction. Kyle, brimming with his trademark cockiness, officially accepts Victoria's proposal for the fake rivalry. He is smug, confident, and entirely too pleased with himself. Victoria, recognizing his inflated ego, decides to challenge him. She steps dangerously close to him, invading his personal space, her eyes flashing with a mix of challenge and raw desire. With a smirk playing on her lips, she looks him dead in the eye and purrs that she would love nothing more than to knock that arrogance right out of him. It is a daring, provocative statement that shatters the professional boundaries between them. Kyle, never one to back down from a challenge, reacts instinctively. The physical proximity, the scent of her perfume, and the sheer audacity of her taunt strip away his remaining inhibitions. Instead of offering a witty retort, Kyle steps in, closing the final inch between them, and captures her lips in a passionate, consuming kiss. And the most shocking part? Victoria does not pull away. She leans into the embrace, reciprocating the kiss with an intensity that confirms every underlying suspicion. In that single, breathless moment in the Jabot executive office, the fake corporate rivalry morphs into a very real, very dangerous illicit affair. The line has been crossed, and there is no turning back for either of them. However, the architects of this secret romance have severely underestimated the intuitive power of their fathers. Jack Abbott and Victor Newman, two men who have spent decades locked in a bitter, blood feud, are about to find themselves on the exact same side of a major issue. When whispers of this fake Vibrante versus Jabbo rivalry begin to circulate, both patriarchs will immediately recognize the inherent danger. They will see right through the PR spin and realize that this stunt could inflict irreparable damage on both Newman Enterprises and Jabot. In a rare and shocking twist of fate, Jack and Victor will share a common ground, a unified, absolute hatred for this manufactured corporate war. While their disdain for the business stunt is mutual, their reactions to the underlying romance will be drastically different. Jack Abbott's response to discovering the truth about Kyle and Victoria's affair will be surprisingly subdued. Jack is a man who has lived through decades of scandalous romances, including his own highly publicized, tumultuous history with Nikki Newman. He understands the irresistible, destructive pull that exists between the Abbotts and the Newmans. When Jack learns that his son is sleeping with Victor's daughter, he will not erupt into a screaming fit. Instead, he will offer a weary, cautious warning. Jack will simply tell Kyle to be careful. He knows that trying to forbid the romance will only push Kyle further away, but his mild reaction masks a deep, lingering dread about the inevitable fallout. Jack's passive stance is rooted in a profound psychological exhaustion. He is currently fighting on multiple fronts, trying to salvage his romantic getaway with Diane while fending off the psychotic threats of Patty Williams and Dr. Markham. Jack simply does not have the emotional bandwidth to wage a full-scale war against his son's love life. He hopes that the affair will burn out on its own, a fleeting spark of rebellion that will eventually extinguish itself. Jack's primary concern is protecting Jabot from the fallout of the fake rivalry, leaving Kyle to navigate the treacherous waters of Victoria's bed on his own. In stark, terrifying contrast, Victor Newman's reaction will be nothing short of apocalyptic. If there is one thing Victor despises more than losing control of his company, it is losing control of his family, especially to an Abbott. When Victor discovers that Victoria is romantically entangled with Kyle, he will go absolutely crazy. Victor views Kyle as an arrogant, entitled, and entirely unworthy boy who is actively manipulating his daughter. To Victor, this is not a romance. It is a direct, calculated insult to the Newman legacy. The very idea of Kyle Abbott touching his daughter will ignite a homicidal rage within the Newman patriarch, transforming him from a disapproving father into a ruthless, calculating predator out for blood. Victor will not simply voice his disapproval. He will launch a full-scale, devastating counterattack. We can predict that Victor will immediately begin pulling strings to destroy Kyle's life. He will likely manipulate Nate Hastings, feeding Nate's lingering feelings for Victoria to drive a wedge between the new couple. Victor will use his immense wealth and power to wage economic warfare against Jabot, specifically targeting Kyle's projects and initiatives. He will make it his personal mission to crush Kyle Abbott into the dirt, ensuring that the young man deeply regrets the day he ever laid eyes on Victoria Newman. Victor's wrath will be boundless, and he will stop at nothing to sever this toxic connection. But the most shocking twist in this entire storyline, the major event that will leave viewers gasping for air, involves the collateral damage of this affair, Claire Newman. As we look ahead to the following episodes, the predictions point toward a devastating, dual pregnancy shocker. Imagine the sheer horror when Claire, Kyle's former lover, discovers the truth about his affair with her own mother figure, Victoria. The betrayal will fracture Claire's already fragile psyche. But the ultimate, jaw-dropping twist will occur when both Victoria and Claire discover they are pregnant with Kyle Abbott's children at the exact same time. This revelation will detonate like a nuclear bomb during a major family gathering, plunging both the Abbots and the Newmans into unprecedented chaos. Driven to absolute madness by the betrayal, Claire will not simply cry and walk away. She will embrace a terrifying, homicidal darkness. We predict that Claire will begin researching slow-acting poisons, meticulously slipping them into Victoria and Kyle's drinks and cosmetics. She will orchestrate a slow, agonizing decline for the couple, watching with twisted satisfaction as their health deteriorates and their new romance crumbles under the weight of unexplained illness and mutual suspicion. The fake corporate rivalry will pale in comparison to the lethal, psychological warfare being waged from within their own home. In conclusion, the illicit romance between Victoria Newman and Kyle Abbott is the catalyst for a monumental disaster in Genoa City. What begins as a calculated corporate stunt and a thrilling secret affair will rapidly devolve into a nightmare of epic proportions. Jack Abbott's weary cautions will be drowned out by the deafening roar of Victor Newman's apocalyptic rage, while Claire's descent into poisonous revenge will threaten to end lives. The battle lines are being drawn, the poisons are being mixed, and the ultimate showdown between the Newmans and the Abbotts is finally upon us. Stay tuned, because the drama on The Young and the Restless is about to reach a fever pitch.